All right. Well, welcome to episode 2. 2 in a row, 2 days in a row.
It's good.
Rob's
Very
fucking jet
good.
setting away for a couple weeks. So
I'm on vacation time.
Yeah.
Can't blame him on that one.
No, Hawaii's the move.
It's the jam.
Where do you
Hawaii
guys-
is jam.
What island are you going to?
Oahu.
Oahu.
Yeah.
Nice, dude.
You guys go to like the same spot every time, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Creatures of habit.
That's pretty
I
cool.
we know people.
Yeah, that
We
helps.
we get treated really well.
You're
there.
kind of that guy though. Everywhere you go, you're making like contacts and friends.
trying. You take care of them, they take care of you.
Yeah.
It's the truth, man.
It's like find the best tiki bar and like get to know the owner.
Tip fat.
And yeah, right.
Just like keep them coming. Double
Yeah.
shots. What hotel do you guys stay at? Do you have like a
Outrigger
preferred-
Waikiki.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You know, I've actually been
So
there.
right above Duke's.
Been there once.
I don't think I've ever been to Oahu. Just Kauai.
Really?
Yeah, Kauai and Kona.
It's not the quiet place to be. I don't think it ever sleeps. It's like
Yeah.
Vegas.
Like Vegas.
Yeah.
Vegas of Hawaii.
You know what I really want to do? I want to go out there and do the axis deer hunt on what's the small island like nobody lives on? Molokai? Is it Molokai?
Yeah, I heard someone talking about that once. I don't know what island it is. It's not the Leper Island.
No. That's on the Big Island. It's just a colony.
Oh, okay. Just go leper hunting.
Yeah, so like I actually just learned about this. It's like it's on the Big Island. It's only accessible by boat or by aircraft. You can't get there by road. And it's this little town that like literally is just like in this little inlet. And it was a leper colony.
Interesting.
And there's only like I think there's only 1 or 2 people left living that were from.
Are you
that
allowed to
era.
talk about it to the locals?
I don't know.
Do it.
I'll have to check that
What's the
out.
worst that could happen? I mean,
I'm gonna go leopard hunting.
leper hunting.
Is
That's all
is
sarcasm.
the where you're at? Was it affected by all the fires and direct energy weapon
No.
attacks? No,
That technology doesn't exist.
dude. Have you seen the videos of
yeah.
the Texas fires?
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
And it's like you see these green lasers and you hear these like crazy I mean, it seems like a visual effects. And then
Like a
Biden
movie-
goes on,
like
and
a
then
movie
Biden's on
scene.
the news and he's like, "Well, you look at all these houses, and you know the ones that didn't have the right roof on them
Yeah.
didn't burn down." And you're like, "What?"
Turns out the blue roofs are okay, right?
Like
Yeah.
I've never wanted a blue roof so bad.
Oh, crazy.
I think we're okay.
I don't know. Maybe that'll be a segment. We can do like conspiracy corners every
Every episode.
Yeah.
Conspiracy corners. I like it. I can
Don't
do
get
that.
me going.
I can
Are
do that.
you like a hardcore tinfoil hat? guy?
No, things just don't make sense.
It's weird how much, especially in the age of information, it's weird how much is coming to light and how much what has been sold over the decades is just like that math doesn't math.
Math. Well,
No.
I mean, and part of it too is if it becomes reality and if it's true, it's technically not a conspiracy.
Right.
That's the interesting thing.
Well, you know
Well-
the term conspiracy only came like was invented around JFK.
Well, bro, people thought Alex Jones was crazy 20 years ago.
And he's just like a freaking
He's like-
he's predicting the future.
Everything that he said,
Yeah, what
pretty
was the
much.
one he went on Rogan or something. He was like talking about like pigs turning gay or like
Oh,
frogs.
the gay
Frogs.
frogs.
Gay frogs or something
Frogs.
like that. And then all of a sudden, like the documents come out and it's true.
Yeah.
And that was like of like everybody was like, okay, he's a little out of left field on that one. And then that one's true.
I mean, but to be honest,
Bro,
he
I mean, he's
is-
probably true. Look at the kids. They're all cutting their dicks off, their boobs off. I mean, bro, we've got some weird shit going on. Like,
Dude,
it's
yeah.
unexplainable.
fluoride. Fluoride in the water.
I mean,
Yeah.
if
I mean, there was fluoride
Anybody
in, the
in
water
your-
when I grew up.
I mean,
well, look at us.
look at this. We go to high school. Like, I graduated high school in 1996.
yeah. I
It's
didn't.
not that long ago. Nobody was talking about cutting their dicks off and shit in my high school.
Were they thinking it?
No.
Well, for
I mean, I
for
don't think so.
context, I graduated in 2005.
Okay, well,
And-
I'm the
and
old
no
guy
one
in
was,
the in the
no one
in the
was
room.
cutting their dicks
Oh,
off.
I'm the baby. I graduated at 06.
Yeah.
Older than you?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
It's wild, dude.
Yeah.
Born in 88.
Okay. 87.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just had a
mean-
birthday. I feel it.
You're 78, I'm assuming?
77.
77. You know.
Yeah.
So you actually grew up in the 80s. Like you remember the 80s.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
More than 90s.
My parents used to have fucking wild parties.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is weird though, man. Like when you look at like what kids are doing in school and like the things that are cool and I don't know. You see, like you see similarities, right? Like kids are vaping instead of
Yep.
like smoking weed in the, or smoking cigarettes or dipping. Like dipping was a cool thing. Like, oh, somebody got a can of dip. Like I'm back and like they're lipping or something.
Bro, think about this. I had dudes in my high school with straight up mustache, beards,
Full grown men.
Yeah.
full grown ass men.
Like hit puberty at like 10, 11 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you look at the kids now, and I'm like,
They're children.
is that dude in elementary school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm 18.
That'd be a great,
It'd
great
be interesting to
conversation
see.
with
Yeah.
Ageless Men's Health. If you look at the testosterone rates from
Dude, that was gonna be my question. Is like, what in our regular diet? Like whether it's like the food dye shit or pesticide, whatever it is.
Yeah,
like what in our food resources is causing this testosterone? Because like even like
Bro,
guys
let's
like our age-
let's do this. You bring in your yearbook, your senior yearbook. I'll bring in mine.
Dude, I graduated with 60 people. It's like it's
You
not
bring
enough
in
people to look
yours,
at.
and we'll compare the dudes in the
this
fucking.
is just one picture. Mine's
and
like,
we will compare them.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was probably the most physically mature person I graduated
Yeah.
with.
No,
like,
I definitely had a
full blown hairy chest at like 15 years old.
Same dude.
Was
I had
growing a beard.
facial hair in high school.
Yep.
Yeah.
Had to shave.
I didn't do that. I just
I was in the music scene though, so I had like the emo bangs and shit.
damn, dude. I was in the same music scene. I had the same thing. In fact, I have a picture of me with like a goatee, but not a long one. I had sideburns.
All
and I
right,
had
bring
my
them
hair-
in. We're
My
bringing
hair
these
was just
in.
over my face, dude, and it was fuck.
Yeah.
Those pictures exist.
Oh, dude, my senior picture, it was bad. It was like I had full long hair. It was all straightened out. Like my picture was like with my guitar. Like it was so bad.
And all 59 other people there thought something was wrong with you.
And he never got laid.
Yeah, there's no way. He's like, not true. Emo chicks, they exist.
Oh.
I had a steady girlfriend all through high school.
Oh, well, that's fun.
I was
Trench coat mafia.
Well, emo's different than Marilyn Manson.
No, yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
like the goth. Like
Yeah.
goth was around. Like there was
Yeah.
definitely those kids who wore like
the industrial
like,
kids.
Yeah, like the cattle, like the bull rings, and
Yeah.
like you had like the crazy baggy pants with like chains and hanging off of them and all that.
yeah. That's
That was never
you're
me.
more the Blink 182,
Yeah,
Newfound
skate
Glory,
punk.
Hawthorne Heights. Yeah, the less weird of the weirdos.
Okay.
So what
Yeah.
was? But you like grunge was kind of your high school era, right?
Hair metal, dude.
It was like Nirvana. Like
Yeah.
that was kind of the
Yeah.
era.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I don't know, man. It was more, I either hung out with like the jocks, right?
Yeah.
Or like the country.
So it was a small school, but like I played sports and whatnot, and so like I kind of ran between different crowds. But then
Yeah.
again, I only graduated with 60 people, so the crowds were like 4 people.
Where'd you
strong.
grow up?
Vacaville. I just went to Vacaville Christian.
Okay.
Yeah, small school.
Yeah.
My mom was afraid I was going to get arrested if she sent me to the public school. So,
Well, dude,
Well,
if you didn't get arrested in high school, you were doing something wrong.
well,
Yeah.
yeah.
That is
Well, where I
actually
came
true.
from,
Yeah,
actually,
Where'd you grow up?
Sitter Sites.
Oh, okay,
well,
so Sac area.
So Sac, Northern Sac.
Yeah, and I'm from San Jose, so
Yeah.
we hit most of the parts of
I mean, my fucking high school
Yeah.
did look like a prison, so it was like
same
had like
lockdown and
zero windows.
gates,
Really?
freaking
Bars
yeah,
on everything.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
dude.
terrible.
yeah. I remember kids like
They just now got their first football stadium. We used another high school's
damn
stadium
That's
for
crazy.
our home games.
coming on up.
Yeah,
That's wild.
it was wild.
That's pretty crazy, dude. Yeah, that trips me out, man. I was in the music scene for a very long time. I played in a band. Had record label. Our music's still on Spotify.
Really?
Oh, it's embarrassing, dude.
Oh,
We
we
had,
that. We were looking for songs to do our intro with.
There we go.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think we
pull
just found the artist.
Old Eterni.
It'd be
I don't own the
cheap-
rights.
It'll be cheap. Oh, you don't have the rights?
No, so when we dispersed, the record label was going to make us pay back all the record money, all the recording money, all that merch.
You just gave him the rights to the music.
And no, so my guitar player in the band at the time, his dad had just Boku bucks, and he went crying, Daddy, they're gonna take my band's name away. So they bought the rights, they bought all the albums back, they paid
what was the
everything
band's
back.
name?
Eterni.
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 that's so
Eterni.
That's so bad.
Dude, it's horrible. And so when I was in like a thrash metal band or like a hardcore band, and
That's why you and Gish, like you guys like the same music, huh?
oh dude, just heavy,
like
heavy,
he was
heavy.
throwing up those reels and it's like all that.
Yeah, all Sim Shots reels are like Main
His
Street.
room's red. Just like wakes up in the morning, he's just amped.
The whole
Yeah.
drive over here is just like, just blah.
Yeah.
Just nonstop. But yeah, the band we actually were a pretty popular band. The record label we were under was owned by Hot Topic, so we were able to get our CDs in stores quick.
That's kinda
like,
cool.
yeah, it was really cool. But I was from a completely different side of music and had known other people, and they brought me into this band, and I was like, well, what's the music like? They're like, yeah, it's like hard rock. And I'm like, well, define hard rock.
Yeah.
It's a little different for everybody. And he's like, dude, you're
It's
good.
like Creed.
Yeah, only heavier. And so they were already signed. They already had their record going and stuff. So I was like, yeah, if I jump in now, this is a quick path to like actually having some funding and like playing more venues and larger venues. So I went and listened to it and was like, this shit's terrible. Like, this is bad music. And every live show, I always tried to make it sound a little heavier. Like I was trying to put my, push for it. But it was pure comedy. Alternative Press, the magazine, did an article on us after our CD release. And they said, if 30 Seconds to Mars and Story of the Year had a love child, that would be our band. And that was about the time I was like, yeah, I gotta get the fuck out of here. I gotta leave this band, dude. And my guitar player started wearing like fingernail paint.
Oh no, yeah, that's time to check out.
Yeah, and I've
Then he cut his dick off, and dude, the rest is history.
I'm surprised he didn't. He's now actually he's I don't think he'll hear the podcast, and if he does, that's good. He needs to know, but he was kind of a little bit of a pussy and fed with a silver spoon. His mom and dad owned a lot of gas stations in the Bay Area, and he was just an emotional, angry kid, and
must suck growing up with money.
oh my God, it must be so hard. I can't even imagine. He got in trouble for threatening the school, saying he was going to like shoot it up once when he was young. And I met him way after that. And, but now he's a politician.
Oh my, seriously?
Go figure.
Now he's a
Go
politician. Yeah.
Is he a California politician?
Yeah, I think
state
it's
level or Fed level.
I think state level or even maybe city level.
Oh, okay, like
Saratoga, California. I think he was on city council, and then he was on.
Somebody who threatened to shoot up a school makes sense that they're not
Totally.
in politics. in
Yeah,
California.
yeah. He actually worked for. I know he went to DC and worked in the Obama administration for a little bit too.
Makes sense.
All right. Well, there
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
No,
So
so that kind of
that's-
company you kept. Okay. I'm
At
glad
the
you got
time-
out of it. Glad
Oh,
you
dude,
got-
I left as quick as I got in, pretty much.
Yeah.
It was a disaster, dude. Like,
Did they have to jump you out?
no, it would have been it would have been a comical attempt if they had tried. I was definitely like more gritty. Like they were all born and bred in like very nice, rich areas, and I was like from straight the hood. Like I was.
Is there really a hood in San Jose?
Oh, geez, dude, that's a whole episode, man. Yeah, yeah. San Jose is rough. Like where I was born in Santa Clara.
Not when you say it San Jose. You got to say it with the right accent. And then
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
rough.
yeah.
Yeah, I grew up pretty much
So
in
much
like
money down there, bro. It's crazy.
It's crazy, but like if you go on one side of the freeway, it's just like pure poverty.
Really?
Like,
And
yeah,
it's
even
still
still?
San Jose?
yeah, it's still San Jose. I grew up. I lived in the east side of San Jose, and God, it was, dude. I was like the only white kid in my neighborhood for a while, and this lived in like favelas, man, like the slums, right? So it's just nothing but apartments.
Oh, that can't be that bad. Like the
Dude.
favelas, like in Brazil.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty bad for San Jose, right? Wouldn't it be like the favelas would be like that's our version, right? It's just nothing but just
I
apartments.
just think it's comical, like when anybody compares like American poverty to anything.
I mean that's true.
elsewhere
You're
in the
right.
world.
You're right. We had like cars and like we had real roofs, not shack roofs. But
It's like you see like 4 cockroaches and like you're living in poverty. In
oh,
in
dude,
the US.
the cockroaches are real. But yeah, I grew up there, and it was like, I mean, every front yard of the apartment complexes were like chain link and dirt and stuff, and I was just like this.
Was Denzel out there? Like,
No Denzels, dude. It was Wands. It
Oh,
was Wands and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, really?
And so I remember one time too, I was pretty much literally like the only white kid in the neighborhood. It was me, my mom, and my brother. And this old grandpa came to the door and barely spoke any English. And my mom told me the story recently too. And it was, he came to the door and basically said like, your youngest son needs to come outside.
like,
My mom's like,
that's
okay.
never a good day.
Yeah, he said, my grandson's here. And we went outside and went downstairs, and he basically was just like, you have to fight him. And it was the weirdest thing. I came upstairs afterwards and my nose was bleeding and I was like hysterical, like not sure, like pretty much my mom just bartered me off for a fight club.
Your mom's like, do you have fun with your friends?
Yeah, right. And And so the kid's name was Nardo, and I'll pretty much never forget this. And it was literally the grandpa's like, dude, you're not going to make it here in this neighborhood if you're going to be the only white dude and you don't fight.
Yeah.
So
So learn how to throw down.
yeah, so dude, me and Nardo like weekly would just get after it in the front, dude. And he consistently beat me up until one day he didn't. And then it proceeded to be me just like,
I will say this: there's too many kids these days, and that just have never gotten smacked right in the face. I mean,
Pretty soft.
It is, man.
There's a lot of
It's-
soft.
and I'm not
kids.
saying it's like I want my kids to get punched in the face every day, but it's like it's an experience that
At
you should
least
have
once.
a couple times in your life.
Yeah.
Where you just like
It'll
you
shape you real quick.
understand.
well, it shows you immediately what kind of person you are.
Yeah.
Especially for a man. I'm not saying women necessarily need to go scrap it out, but for a man, the first time you get just drilled in the face, you're gonna be like, oh shit.
You don't know, like you just don't know what to do with yourself. It's
Yeah.
like it's a complete reset.
Yep. Either
Pretty
you're
weird.
made for the world or you're soft and you're gonna get walked all over forever.
Oh.
You know, and there are people out here even, and I was talking to I think I was talking to my business partner Nick about it, and we were talking like there's a firearm instructor out here in the valley who's always talking about, you know, how he's hot shit and he's ready to take over and you know this and this and he's prepared for the worst. And we look at him and through conversation you could just see it in his face. He's never been punched in the mouth. You could just see it in his face, and it's like, man, you're not gonna make it past the first wave, dude. Like, I mean, he might, you know, he's a pretty good shooter, but there's just something about being able to actually have that level of violence to be like,
It is one of those things,
capable.
man. Like I
What was it like when you joined the Marine Corps and you got bus ride into Camp Pendleton? And I mean, I've never been there,
you know,
but I
like,
watch all the documentaries and I'm like,
you see the
damn.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. They
Marines-
run around, they scream, they, you know, they make you PT really hard, and like you'll throw up all over yourself, and like it's like it's
I mean,
it's
did
chaos.
Did you cry?
No,
Did you miss home? Did you call mom?
So so when you get there, like you'll go in, you stand on the yellow footprints, and like they basically do this whole receiving. You go into this room, you dump out all your shit onto a table. They go through it, make sure you don't have any contraband. You take off, you know, all the stuff that they don't want you to have, put your cell phone, your wallet, you know, watches, put it all in a bag, and they take it away and store it for you.
Yeah.
And then everybody like files into this room with these like old like telephone banks, like just they're all lined up.
prison.
Yeah, exactly. and you dial your number, and there's a script. You can't go off script, and like you basically like, this is Recruitmobile. Like you're just screaming in the phone, like I've arrived at, you know, MCRD San Diego safely. Like I'll talk to you in 13 weeks. I love you, goodbye, and you hang up.
I am
I
not
don't-
dead.
Yeah, I don't remember what this. It's something like that. You're basically just like, I'm here, I'm alive. They haven't killed me yet. Bye, and like,
Yep.
and that's it. And I think like, I want to say, a couple of people got phone calls home as like rewards for, you know, high performance or
Yeah.
high achieving or whatever. I never called home. I was a little older, so I think I was like the second or third oldest. And I don't know. I just kind of went with it. I mean, they play games with you, but you realize really quickly like that they're games, and there's some games that you're just not going to win.
Yeah.
Like it's a no-win scenario. They're just constantly screwing with you. They're setting
Yeah.
you up with questions or problems that you have to solve, and you're not going to solve it correctly. You may solve it correctly.
What about when all your other teammates they fuck up and
Yeah, I mean,
I mean
it's-
you're paying the
Well,
price
that's when
for
you get
somebody
smoked,
else's
right?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Yeah, they call it what do they call it? IT. I think it's like incentive training. I think it's what it's called.
probably
And
not
they-
anymore.
They
Sensitivity training.
yeah,
now.
exactly. They take you up on like the quarter deck, you know, in your squad bay, or they take you out into the sand pits, and they just like, you know, basically up downs, mountain climbers, jumping jacks, push ups, and it's just like
Just smoked.
they just smoke you, and then you're done, and then you go back and dude, I went into boot. I think I was weighing like 210. I think I came out at like 170.
Shit.
Dude, I was losing fat. I was losing fat so fast. I just had like this like ridiculous irritable bowel syndrome the whole time because I was just dropping weight like crazy.
Yep.
It was
Too
wild.
fast.
Yeah,
Too
it's
fast.
super crazy. So, I mean, you're on the go all day long. You know, you wake up at, you know, whatever it is, 0405, something like that, and you start the day, and you don't end the day until you go to bed at like 2100. Like, it just is what it is.
Damn.
So you're just constantly on the move. You're in classrooms, and so it's not like you're always.
I mean,
running.
you don't get up. I mean, 8:30. We heard about this yesterday.
No.
7 o'clock. I mean,
Don't. It's 7:30.
you're in real
7:30.
trouble.
You know, no, I would. Well, it's funny too because like you're saying all that, and in my head, I'm immediately the guy who's just like, they couldn't break me, bro. I just see red. Like, there's no way. But like, once you get there, you do get broken, and they just like are conditioned.
Well, I think you go in there with a mindset that you are
Hot
you're
shit.
going. Well, no, you like well, at least I think some people go in that they're hot shit. I think you go in with the mindset like I joined up, like I'm gonna play the game because
Yeah.
I want to earn the title. I want to go do the job.
Right.
And so like I don't know. To me, like it wasn't as emotional of an experience as it was for some. Like there were definitely some dudes who had emotional breakdowns. Like my very first night, I think this guy planned it this way, but my very first night, we hadn't even gotten received yet. So they have like your first week is just like admin. So you're with DIs, but they're not like they're being kind of nice to you. They're not really screaming at you. They're not really like they're just guiding you around to like all of your doctor's appointments and intake, and they're basically you're joining the military.
Yeah.
And the very first night, we're sitting, they call it a school circle. We're just sitting in this big circle. And this kid just stands up. We're on the second deck. He stands up, walks out, hops over the railing, off the second deck, down to the floor, breaks both of his ankles. And they basically out-process him. Yeah, that one night. He's like, oh, I was trying to kill myself. I'm like, dude, you weren't trying to kill yourself. You came here to break your ankles because you know you're going to get paid for 5 years and you're not going to have to do anything. So I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff like that, but for the most part, I mean, I think you get there and
Jumps over the railing.
yeah, dude, it's like you jump off the second story. You weren't trying to kill yourself, man.
Like, yeah, dude, it's a
You're like, hey, do it
10-foot
again.
fall.
Yeah.
Go to the next one.
Yeah, go head first if you really want
It was like
to.
that scene from Batman, like, you know, word of advice. Like, if you want to scare somebody, take him up to a height where you're going to hurt him. And he's like, I'm not trying to kill you. And he drops him and breaks his leg.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. It was games. It was fun.
It's
I
wild.
honestly, like, I don't know. I had a good time. You get in shape. You get in really killer shape. I was running like 18-minute miles or 18-minute 3 miles when I came out of there.
Yeah.
I mean, I was pulling 20 pull-ups unbroken. Like, you get in good shape.
And what was your actual so once you graduated and you were done with boot camp and stuff, what was your actual position? Like what did you
So I was on 0311. So after that, you're basically just like, you know, you haven't gone to any school. So then I went to infantry school, and 0311 is just a rifleman.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I had dreams of grandeur, but you know, never did anything really cool. So
Yeah.
I was one of those guys. Like I ended up reserve component, which is fine. It wasn't what I had planned on and hoped for, but that's how it shook out. And tried to deploy a couple times. That didn't really work out either. And so then I got into EMS, and
Sick.
the rest was history.
Yeah, it worked
It's
out.
cool. It's a good experience, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, it was a great experience. Like, I'm grateful for it. I used to have this like weird imposter syndrome, like, you know, like you become a Marine and you're like, if you never deployed or like went and fought, like you don't really feel like,
Validated.
you don't, yeah, exactly. Like, you know, it's like you only got one rocker.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like it's just you're not quite like fully there. But I've kind of gotten
I'm
over
not
it.
patched in yet.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Like, I don't know. I got over it. You know what I mean? Like, especially after spending the time in EMS that I have, it's like you start to see, you know, you see shit here, you see shit over there. Like, it's not the same, but there's correlations. And after talking to a bunch of my buddies who are combat vets, it's like, I mean, yeah, it still would have been cool to go get in gunfights, but it also would have sucked to go get in gunfights. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've heard nothing
Like-
but horrible things about them.
Yeah, like it's weird. Like you go into it and you glorify it in your mind. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, this is gonna be like rad. We're gonna go fucking.
I just like the uniform. The Marine Corps uniform's awesome.
Oh, by
Yeah.
far the best.
By far the best.
By far the best. So I don't know. It was cool. It was a great experience. You know, I'm glad I did it. You
It's
know,
awesome.
I'm proud of the
Thank you.
accomplishment, but
Yeah.
dude. Yeah, proud of the accomplishment, but
You're
it-
welcome.
It was just it was a part of my life that came and went. It just is
Yeah.
what it is.
It's cool, though. How many years? 4?
6.
Six.
Damn.
Yeah, but I
Long
mean,
haul.
it was like 6 soft years, you know, like 6 years reserve component. It's like, it's, you know, you're part-time essentially. So I got to still go to school. I did my EMT and medic school all while I was in the military. And then, yeah, and started working.
And I hear the base down there is like awesome.
We're at MCRD San Diego.
Yeah.
I mean, it's old. Like, it's cool. It's very clean. They got
Yeah.
a bunch of recruits that can
You're
give
in
them
San
free
Diego,
housekeeping,
though.
So yeah, but you share a fence with the airport.
Mm.
It's like you see all these airplanes taking off, going to cool places. And you're like, I'm stuck here.
You're And then you guys got guys jumping off the second deck.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Oh shit.
yeah, no, it's funny. My wife, she always is like, oh, you know, like with shooting. She's like, oh, you learned how to shoot in the Marine. I'm like, I learned how to like manipulate, you know, an M16, but like I learned how to shoot after the military.
Let's talk about that.
You know,
Yeah.
That's actually a really important topic for me
Yeah.
and what I do.
break it down, bro.
But yeah, no, I mean, in this, so obviously, the more people will get to know us, the more they'll know I'm a firearm instructor. SimShot's a very high volume instructing outfit. I mean, we surpassed like 2,000 people in 2 years of actual teaching and working with. So
And
super
that's not all membership. That's like people who
No.
come through and seek
classes,
single classes sometimes.
yeah, classes, one-on-ones, private lessons, regular sessions on the simulator, live fire. I mean, all of it. And the biggest thing in the beginning, when I wasn't an instructor and when I was seeking instruction, the thing that always had this like biggest mystique for me that was amazing was, oh man, ex SWAT, fuck, this guy must be great. You know,
Body stacker.
yeah, special operations based training, shit
Oh.
like that. And I'd be like, okay, here's $600. I'm gonna take this class. And truthfully, the further I've gone into this like rabbit hole of and instructing, teaching, learning how to communicate and articulate my words to clients and students, the more I realize there's levels to this shit.
For sure.
And
And it varies.
it varies. And there are some really amazing ex SWAT dudes or cops who really took their training seriously and got out and continued to progress. And they are phenomenal instructors like
Mhm.
Kyle from Combat Absolute. I mean, the dude is just, he knows
Kyle's
more.
awesome.
He knows more
Nice.
about shooting than I have. I mean, he's forgotten more about shooting than I even know.
Well, and what does he focus on? I mean, the dude like legitimately could teach like tactics and whatnot. He focuses on the fundamentals.
He's on the fundamentals.
The best part of it is when a trainer is actually constantly training and
Yeah.
training with
Yeah.
other people.
That dude's got a gun in his hand
Um,
constantly.
A lot.
I first met Kyle years and years ago. I didn't even know who Kyle was, but I actually hosted a Magpul class. Basically, lied my way into a very high level class that was supposed to be for law enforcement only.
Was this like
um,
Magpul during like the Haley
Yeah,
Costa years?
yeah, and it
Okay.
was crazy. And then I developed a relationship with Chris, and we started doing more of them. And he would be at every class, and Kyle was just learning and learning and learning. And
Hungry.
We're
hungry.
talking about Kyle. His name is Kyle Gentry.
Yep.
He has a company in based in Boise called Combat Absolute. So if
Yeah.
anybody's
Yeah.
interested in
Yeah.
a really high quality,
Yeah, if you're local and so even for us, right? Like people are like, dude, I want to learn some like carbine gunfighter stuff. And I'm like, I'm not your guy.
right?
I know the guy and I will send you to him. His name's Kyle and I'll give his card. I give his card out. I think damn near every single one of my clients knows exactly who he is now
Yeah.
because truly, and I've taken tons of classes and like his beginner carbine class that I took, when I showed up, I had the chip on my shoulder because I'm like, dude, I'm already really good at shooting.
I'm great.
I'm fantastic. And
I'm
he
the
probably,
best thing that ever happened to the
Yeah.
AR world.
right? He probably won't be able to teach me anything that I don't already know.
Right.
But I'm going to take his progression. I want to learn his beginner, intermediate, and then gunfighter. And took the beginner class, and I walked out of there with so much shit I didn't know. I was like, oh, that never dawned on me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's just so many levels to this, and people have this thing where it's like special operations. Shit, he must be a good teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Just because you
Right.
can do doesn't mean you can teach.
Yeah, and I've worked with guys who are ex special forces or SOF community, whatever, and they can run a rifle, no doubt about it. You put a pistol in their hands and they're teaching, and I'm just like, huh,
That's not great.
yeah. I mean, they're shooting.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, dude, I mean, don't get me wrong. I wasn't gun illiterate. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I learned like very good fundamentals.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's a different kind of thing. And honestly, like if I had to reflect, like what that military experience gave me was some confidence being around the platforms. And I definitely had I have a grasp of the fundamentals of maneuvering with the gun. So like non-static, non-flat range stuff.
And that's actually super important. I mean, I mean, you'll see guys that are like, man, I haven't shot a carbine in 5 years. They pick it up, they clear it, they can break it down, they can
Right.
put it back together on all that stuff still. I mean, that's
Well, I mean,
important too.
Just drill it.
Yeah.
You know?
And there is, I mean, being comfortable around guns and with a lot of our clients who are like fearful of guns, like the big thing is like, listen, you have to not be afraid of this if you want to progress.
Yeah, you kind of have to make that thing your bitch.
Yeah, straight
You know
up.
what I mean?
Yeah, if you're afraid of guns, that's the first thing we have to
Just takes
tackle.
time. You know,
Yes.
not everybody picks it up right away.
Yep. Repetition,
Yep.
time, and just understanding that like I told a client recently too, like she was damn near shaking on the line. And I was like, are you okay? She's like, I'm just really nervous.
Sure.
I'm like, okay, cool. What are you nervous about? She's just like, well, the gun. I'm like, okay. Well, you have it pointed down range? She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. Is your finger off the trigger? She's like, yeah. And I said, do you plan on turning this thing on yourself? And she's like, no. I'm like, well, nothing's going to happen to you. Like, at all.
Well, so we create we create redundancies.
Yeah.
Like, if you follow the rules that everybody
Mhm.
learns, they're redundant.
Yeah.
You break one,
Yeah.
the other ones are going to save you.
Yep. You have to break multiple to have a catastrophic incident.
Right.
And I hope no one hears that and goes like, let's see how bad we
let's see how
Yeah.
bad we push
Which
that.
ones do I have to break to really fuck up?
No,
Um,
it's crazy though, because I took a class, pretty high level pistol class in Oregon, and it was actually a Magpul class, but they, for whatever reason, the people that we signed up with weren't the trainers. It was a scheduling issue, and we roll up in there, and I went up there with like 3 other guys that I know that are very well versed in firearms,
Yeah.
and it was almost like the fundamentals went out the window with the instructor, and it was pretty wild. And I wrote a review to it, and it was I mean, so these high tier dudes, you know,
Yeah.
some of these trainers, they're not all,
I think it gets magnified in today's era because you become insta famous.
yeah.
And
Yep.
and you got a big YouTube following, and you're all of a sudden this like highly sought after instructor.
And this was crazy because it was before really Facebook and Instagram got big. It was off the DVD platforms, right?
Yeah.
Like this dude's in there, you know, he's running a gun. But
Right.
when I went to that class, I was like,
Oh.
damn.
Should we review
Yeah.
what a DVD is?
That's funny. What about
It's-
VHF?
Yeah,
Or
it's
VHS.
VHS, DVD, and then like computers. And
Dude, I just finally convinced my wife to throw away all of our DVDs. I'm like, I'm not gonna do anything with these.
I can't do it.
I'm like, I just
Dude, I can't do
I don't
it.
even have a DVD player.
Neither
I
do
don't either. But the boxes of them just have to sit. dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm like they're going to be worth money or
No.
sentimental value. There's just junk
I
sitting
just-
on a
I
shelf.
can't do it.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a big thing. So like you said, you learned about the comfort, the manipulations, and the important aspects of becoming proficient with a rifle.
Right.
And that's going to help everyone who comes out of the military transitioning to pistol.
Right.
A lot of people don't realize that when you're in the military, you are not issued a pistol unless you're an officer.
No, that's not true.
Well-
you have to qualify on it.
Qualify, but
And
generally
then,
speaking,
and then it depends on either your MOS or your billet. So
Right.
it depends on your job.
so okay, so that's true. But moreover, and more likely than not, most people in the military aren't going to be
Most
carrying a
of
pistol.
most of your like just normal infantry guys aren't going to have it. I think all of our mortarmen, I think they all had pistols. Or maybe they just all got M4s. I can't remember. But they basically, like all the guys that have to carry like heavy shit,
Yeah.
they get lighter stuff.
Well, I mean, that's
So-
fair. That's actually a really good point.
So there's like there is some thought and reason as to who gets what.
yeah.
I think officers just like to have like, you know, those like really tactical drop leg holsters.
Oh,
that,
of
like
course.
it's like on your kneecap when you
Yeah, I mean,
Here.
that's my thing. Is just when you get out,
Blackhawks made a lot of money on.
dude, so much money. So, and I don't even own a Blackhawk holster. I
Oh,
don't think.
dude,
I don't
they're
think I have a
so
single
trash.
one.
I thought it was so cool back in 2006,
did.
2007, had the cool drop leg
Oh yeah.
with the little bang switch.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. No.
It's so funny.
And
how
an
far it's
M9.
come.
it was my first pistol.
Was it
Was it?
really?
Well, real pistol. My first revolver was a GP 100, but yeah, it was my first
what was it?
Semi-auto.
pistol. Yeah, semi-auto
What was it?
M9.
M9. Yeah. I don't even want to say what my first pistol is.
Yeet cannon.
Might as well be. No, it was a Craigslist trade for a.
That sounds pretty San Jose of you.
It was really San Jose. turns out, I may or may not be in possession of that pistol still, but it turns out like that's not the way you're supposed to get a gun in San Jose. But I didn't know. But it was a Springfield XD.
Dude, mine
Oh.
wasn't my first pistol, fun fact, I bought from Rob at Sack Black Rifle
Shit.
before we knew each other.
Yeah.
It was an XDM, and I bought it on the single shot exemption when you guys were selling those, when you were basically swapping the barrels
10-inch
out.
barrels, yeah.
Yeah. So like the feed ramp was like extended.
Yeah, so that it couldn't receive-
It couldn't
yeah.
receive another round from the mag, and the barrels were long.
Those were the good old
And
days.
so California was weird,
Yeah.
right? It's how you got this non-roster gun because it was basically just a single shot gun, and then you get your barrel, and then you have to be the one to put
Swap
the
it.
barrel in. Right? I think
yeah,
that's how
it was like an exchange program. You had to build it up. It was wild.
yeah. It was,
We sold a lot of guns though.
you guys sold a lot.
A lot.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
that's-
that was my first, but I still have it. I thought about it's chambered in 40, which I'm not a fan of. Like, I've been thinking about converting it, but like,
or just run it.
well, you
Spend the
know.
money on the ammo.
Well, like I can't get rid of it. It's like it's so sentimental.
Yeah, I still
So-
have.
It's awesome.
Dude, offloading guns is so hard.
Yeah, I can't. Do
It's so hard. I look at all my rifles and I'm like, I don't use any of these,
Yeah,
but I like them.
Yeah.
and they're safe queens.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And they just sit there. When I open my safe, I feel very happy.
Yeah.
You feel like a
But
little
when
bit
I
more
have-
of a
It's an
man.
addiction
Yeah.
for sure.
Dude, it's bad. And then
And like we don't even hold a freaking candle to Rob's collection that he's got over there.
No.
He's
We
just
got
like,
quite a
I'm gonna
few.
take one of those off the books and
Yeah.
Well, I don't even walk in my gun vault hardly ever.
Yeah. But when you do,
When I do, I get
you're
pretty
like,
excited.
"Fuck yeah.
Yeah. I'm like,
I
dang,
have all
like,
this.
where was this gun at?
sporting a partial every time.
Yeah. No, dude, it's
Actually, bringing this here is gonna. It made me actually happy
yeah.
because
I've mentioned. So what do we got coming for? I think it's gonna be on that wall.
yeah,
right?
it'll be on
Yeah.
that wall. Hold up displays.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna be cool. But bringing these here left me a lot of room to do a lot more
Oh,
stuff
cool.
in there. So
that's what
it's
you're
gonna
talking
be
so much
yeah,
room for activities.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be cool.
Go do karate.
I can actually get all of my guns probably in that vault now.
Shit.
So yeah,
That's wild.
it's gonna be cool.
But back to training, man. One of the things I think of is, I think there's a lot of guys who just go to class after class after class after class.
Yep.
But in between classes, they're not really doing anything. They don't have their own range time. They're not dry firing. They're not manipulating. They're not practicing what they learn.
Yeah.
And so like you show up.
I think that could be said for a lot of people, like a lot
sure.
more than you would think.
Totally.
Yeah.
Myself included, I could be doing a lot more, and I probably should be doing a lot more.
Yeah, but when you
And I
come
think
to a
that's why the
class-
simulator is such an important tool
Oh yeah.
because we get inclement weather here.
Yeah.
You know,
When
Dude,
it's
it gets-
cold,
it's cold.
Balls out.
even when it's hot, dude. We thought winter was gonna be our busy season. When it's summer and it's hot, right? Just Instagram post like, just so y'all know, we got AC.
We got
going
AC
right
in the
now.
back. Yeah.
It's like 62 in here. I'm wearing a sweater,
Yeah.
and people just start showing up because
Yep.
it's hot as fuck.
But I think it's important. You know, this is a different component for sure. And I know we talked about it on the last podcast where, you know, I kind of almost talked you out of
Yeah.
doing this, and I'm glad that I didn't. I mean, this is such a valuable tool. And then now with the VR, like I really think that there should be a component to your guys's
Yeah.
curriculum with that because that could give people the opportunity to walk through a range,
Yeah.
you know, and it's not static at all. I
Nope.
threw on those glasses yesterday, and
Yeah,
I
that
was like,
wild. And you
wow.
can set up the perimeter. So like
Yeah.
you can actually move around like
Yeah.
in space.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, I think like I was talking about it. Someone's like, can I like sprint and like go to different stations? I'm just like, dude, if you want to bring this VR to a park
Yeah.
with a field, yeah, we could probably build a perimeter huge.
Yeah.
But in here, it's like, let's keep it a little more mellow than that. Let's not have like, you know, clients falling over my desk and landing on me.
Yeah.
But no, the VR is really cool, man. And I talk shit about VR for 4 years now. It's
I had never put one on ever.
yeah, this is
yesterday
my
was
first
the
I went
first
on a
time-
SHOT Show 2 years ago, and I was very impressed with it. It didn't hold a candle to what we did yesterday.
Yeah, and that's what 2 years you said 2
Yeah.
years ago, 2
Yeah,
3 years,
Yeah, 2 years ago.
and that's the technology jump in that brief amount of time, and it's the man, the idea that people are out here training and not utilizing the current technologies available to grow their shooting is insanity to me.
Ammo is expensive.
Hell of
Like even
expensive.
when ammo was cheap, it's expensive. Like it's you know what I
It
mean?
really
yeah,
is.
yeah, shooting's a rich man's sport.
I don't think it's ever going to go down either. I mean, it just keeps getting more expensive, and then they come out with a little bit better deal, or
Or another
It's-
reason to jack up the price.
yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Ammo depots like explode. And,
Yeah, I don't even do like all of those like bulk ammo websites where you buy a membership and all that. I don't even do that. I just wait for Black Rifle to have ammo, and I'm just like, I don't.
Rob's
Even,
like, hey,
we
boys,
have-
I got a pallet coming in.
Yeah, well, it's
No, we
like
have pretty good deals though.
yeah.
You know what I
Yeah, you
mean?
guys do
It's
have
like
pretty good deals.
we try to sell it. I mean, without the little seeds, the gun is useless. So
Yep.
you might as well bring the people in,
Well,
make
it's
a
like,
little
and
bit
you guys
less
don't
money.
make a ton of money on ammo.
No,
Like, your
it's
margins are-
actually more work than it is. I mean, the invoices are huge when you're buying it by the pallet like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I mean, you're
The
dropping-
invoices are huge. I don't want to pay those, and you make zero margin on them, but it brings people in.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a constant flow of customers.
Well, it's like if somebody comes in and buys, a case of ammo, and they're like, "Oh, maybe I'll get that new light."
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever.
yeah. I mean,
So,
Well, it's our job that at that point to convert you into something else.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I always tell everybody, it's like we're gonna put you upside down and shake your pockets out. The longer you stay in here, the more money we get to make.
Yeah.
But I think you show people a added value. You know, you show them something there. The guns and the ammunition, there's no money on it. The margins are just not there.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate because guns are expensive. But when you're making $40 on a Glock, like it's a lot of money to have, especially at,
Right.
at the level that I have our inventory at.
Yeah.
I can't say that for a lot of other stores. My competitors, I walk into them and they look like they have very little. And I don't go into very many stores, but when I do, it's like they have very little selection.
Yeah, there's a couple that are. Actually, there's only really one that I can think of that's stock other than you guys. Like you guys are.
Yeah. I mean, I try. I mean, we really do push the envelope on the inventory.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at my bank account some days and I'm like, ugh. Yeah, this is not good.
Yeah,
You
but
know
then
what I
an
mean?
Atlas shows up and you're like, wow, this is pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, if I don't have it, right, and if a customer keeps coming back and I'm still out of that inventory that they're looking for, I'm going to lose a customer. Now, I'm not trying to do, we're doing a couple of different things this year that are going to kind of separate us. We're going to go back to our roots more, the custom builds, things of that nature. Because I really don't want to have the inventory that the big box stores have.
Yeah.
It's just a race to the bottom at that point. And not that I don't want every customer, it's like I want the customers that appreciate what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So if you go buy a Ruger 1022 anywhere and make no money on it, I'd rather just send you down the street, Big Five, wherever, and let them make the no money on it. And when you're ready to have something nice,
Right.
you know, something custom, something cool,
That'll be cool.
yeah, then that's what we'll.
So,
they'll help
are you guys
with.
bringing gunsmithing back in? Are you guys gonna do builders courses or what?
Really don't want to get into too much of that. We're
That's
looking for a new building.
for
Let's
another
just put it
time.
that way. For here,
Yeah.
we've got some things that are in the works in Sacramento as well.
Cool.
As I work through the situation at Sparks, which we'll probably get into once we get closer to that close. Yeah, there's some big things happening.
Cool.
But
I'm stoked to hear about it.
Yeah, man.
yeah,
So
It's
we
phenomenal.
got some two cool things happening. So we'll leave it at
Rob's
that.
one of those guys, like when he has an idea, he just goes for it.
You
So,
just balls to the wall.
yeah.
I wish I
Well,
had.
I mean, like sitting here, like this is kind of a product of that, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I wish
Goes
I
to
had
a
more
podcast.
money. If I had more money, there could be some things that we could do that would just change the game.
I mean, the thing I'm not gonna speak specifically, but that idea we were talking about yesterday, like, we got to figure out a way to make that happen.
That's
Yeah.
a goal of mine.
So,
Yeah. You know what they say?
I know
though?
we're talking in like cryptic code, you know, for our audience, but we got.
No,
some
I
cool
think,
things.
you know-
and we'll talk about this.
And
other
listen, we
details
talked
and
about
things.
it yesterday, building this community. That's
Mhm.
what we're trying to do.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
trying to keep a level head, trying to keep people informed,
Yeah.
trying to keep people engaged and having fun while doing that.
Yeah.
That is the goal,
Huge.
the end goal, and bringing everybody that we like and that are like-minded that we trust into this scenario that we're, you know, I mean, there's so many things that we could talk about and touch on. And I can't wait as this podcast goes,
Yep.
you know, as
It'll-
we
it'll-
grow
it'll
into
be cool
this.
to like reveal these developments. And whatnot.
Yeah.
It's like I
Yeah.
guess we have to give some teasers. Like there's some really cool ideas that are going to be.
Let's
coming
just
to
put it that way.
fruition.
If we could put every one of us under one roof and have like a guy's plaza, like you got a barber shop, you got a bar, you got a saloon, you got a speakeasy, or you got a training facility. I mean,
Like 5 of those ideas were all alcohol based. So.
well, I mean,
if you got a bar,
A bar,
a
a
booze
saloon,
station,
Yeah, I mean,
a
speakeasy.
brewery, alcohol.
someplace where you can do, you know, stogies. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
honestly, it'd be cool to be able to pull into one parking lot and have all that underneath one
Well,
roof.
women have that.
Yeah.
And men don't really have that.
Yeah.
All of our shit's like we go to, we go down the street, we got to go to Barclay and Hill. And then, okay, cool. I want to have a cigar. You have to go to the vault. And then,
Speaking of them, I just came from there.
yeah, looking
Looking
sharp.
fresh, buddy.
Looking
Fresh
sharp.
fade for Hawaii.
Oh, yeah.
Trevor does a good job over there.
Trevor does a
Yeah,
great job
they're
over
great.
there.
And that
Yeah.
dude, the vibe in that shop is just
It's on
It's
point.
as good as it gets.
I actually started going there before I moved to Idaho. I came out here to buy a house, just a rental property, and I was like hella shaggy. And someone posted a picture of it, and I'm like, that is a dope looking barber shop.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I just went in. He's just like, well, I'm fully booked, and I'm like, I live in California, dude. So if you can cut me up now, great. If not, and he's like, I'll fit you in. And ever since then, we've been friends. Like,
Yeah.
we started talking, being friends, and
It's
Yeah.
awesome. He's got a chill vibe. The chairs are awesome. The whole place is just dialed. And I told him actually today we got to have him on the podcast for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
yeah, he's
But
lived
he's one of the
life
homies.
too.
He's a Marine too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ex-military. Yep.
Yeah. And have you been to the Franklin next door? That bar?
Like the Roosevelt.
the Roosevelt. That's
yeah,
right.
that
Yeah,
place
that-
is awesome.
That place is awesome too.
Yeah.
Good vibe.
It's like that old time. It's just like I think both the barbershop, both Barclay and Hill and the Roosevelt. Like,
They utilize that space perfectly.
oh, dude, it's so good.
Yeah. So shameless plug, I guess, if you live in the
for
Idaho
sure.
area.
yeah, completely
Yeah.
unsponsored.
Go-
we just
yeah.
really like them.
Yeah, go get your haircut. at
Well, you know
Barclay and
that
Hill.
owner too. He's got a lot of properties. He owns the 127 Club as
Yep.
well. That's
Oh,
another.
really?
That's a nice little honky
The
tonk.
little honky tonk, right? That's
Yeah.
like 2 blocks over, right?
Mhm, Yep.
Yeah.
Just one block over, really, on the other side.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that place was there. I went in there with a couple buddies two or 3 weeks ago, and it was a girls' night. It was like a girls' night out. And
You're
we're
like, I hit the
"Yeah,
jackpot.
this was I mean, we could have ended up at worse places.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
It's a good
absolutely.
time.
It is.
Yeah.
Meridian's up and coming, man. Meridian's growing and changing.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Even since I've been here in the past like 5 years.
Yeah.
The traffic's changed. Like my whole neighborhood's unrecognizable.
Yeah, it's wild.
crazy.
So we're already getting some hate thrown at us for our rug. So
Yeah.
yesterday we talked about it. We're like, oh, we think rugs are cool. I actually looked up the flag. I don't know, code, policy, whatever you want
Yeah,
to call
it's
it.
allowed.
No, it's not.
No.
This is not allowed.
No.
we're absolutely in the wrong.
This
No.
is
It
not
is
allowed.
a rug. I mean, like
These socks aren't allowed.
so it is a rug, but we can't say that that's not allowed without mentioning you can't have bandanas, you can't have socks, you can't have freaking board shorts, you can't have bikinis. So if you're gonna hate on the rug and you've got something that's an American flag that isn't a flag, then you're also in the wrong.
Yeah.
So we'll probably adjust.
We're gonna adjust this.
We might adjust. Maybe we probably will.
It's
I don't
a
know. We'll see.
sick fucking
It's
rug.
just it looks
It is cool.
so good.
It
It's
looks
a
good.
sick
But I
fucking
do
rug.
understand where people are coming from. Like technically, it's a flag on our feet. Whatever. It is what it is. If you think that we're intentionally trying to disrespect the flag, like you got some patriotic dudes in this room. Like
Yeah.
we're not trying to disrespect the flag. by
Real
any
fucking
means.
Americans.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
So-
that's interesting. When I first looked at the rug too, I was like, oh, I should maybe look to see.
Yeah.
And what I found was basically it's almost like what my understanding of it was, and for full disclosure for anyone listening in the future understands this, I'm not a smart man. I read a lot of shit, and a lot of shit I go, I understand that. And then I tell someone like that's not what that means. So this happens all the time. But from my
Are
understanding,
you like
if-
convinced of truths, like based off of the Facebook like article
pretty
title?
much,
Yeah.
man. I just read the title and I'm like, that's
He
good.
said Earth is flat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
has to be. Well, I mean, what else could it be?
That can be
Um,
one of our conspiracy corner
Oh,
conversations.
dude. I actually, you know what? I have a local guy out here I know who is a true diehard flat earther. And I would love to have him on and let him go ahead and humiliate himself in front of
that'll be
the
fun.
masses. Three people.
Is he a
who,
pilot?
No. I don't think any pilot is a flat earther. Holy
there
shit.
are some.
But when I read about the flag thing, it was basically saying if it's not a flag, right? Like so,
Yeah.
if it's not a flag, it can be a rug, and that's okay.
So I was on the house.gov
Mm-hmm.
site. So it was like, it's the official flag code.
Okay.
And I can send you the link. But basically the paraphrase is, if it is not a flag, then it shouldn't bear the image of the flag. Is really what it comes down to.
Hmm.
So, like, if we're gonna be technical about it, we are out of compliance. But it's not illegal. It's just it's a best practices.
Yeah,
America
we
was
probably-
founded by rebels, dude.
There you go.
Straight up.
So I don't know.
I don't know. We're pretty patriotic. I know I am.
It just looks so.
but it is
dang
cool.
good.
It is a nice looking rug.
You know what we should do? We should just have an open forum. Like, if you don't like our rub, just let us know.
Yeah, we
and-
could put like a poll up.
Mhm.
I have a feeling it's going to be the loud minority, but it is what it is.
It was
I just-
very few
you know,
people that reached out to me,
I
but
think
I
it's-
did get reached out to.
I think it's funny that
crazy.
we're already getting hate thrown at us. We don't even have anything posted yet. This is our second episode. Our
Dude, we're
first
sitting
one,
behind a bare wall.
I know. Our first episode is going to be launched tomorrow morning.
I know. It's crazy though that
So-
there's a lot of people that are actually really looking forward to this.
Yeah.
I've had multiple people reach out to me.
Same.
They're like telling me, "Hey, can you guys touch on this topic?" And
Right.
I can't wait to start taking the Q&As,
Yeah.
right? And start diving into things that people actually want to hear
Yeah.
and talk about that may be too afraid to actually bring it up. I forget.
I'll talk about anything.
Yeah, for
I,
sure.
no, I
There you
had
go.
I had
Shit.
something. Somebody brought something up. It was political a couple nights ago. I'm not going to mention any names, but some people that are very connected in politics here was like, "Hey, you're going to put your neck out on the line on that bill, and it could come back to haunt you." And I'm like, "Listen, I can't be canceled personally because one, if you don't give a fuck. Two, I own my own business. And three, my business is wrapped in politics.
Yeah.
Like everything that I do within my space, it has something to do with politics.
Totally.
And, yeah, so I can't wait to unpack some of these people's questions that may be afraid they've got a job that they can't ask those type of questions,
which is bullshit.
I know it's nuts, but I'm excited to see where this ends up.
Yeah, and
going.
it's going to be fun too because I have polarizing opinions than probably a lot of like standard conservatives do on a lot of really fucking gnarly subjects. And I don't. My theory has just really always been like I don't. The whole part about being American is I say what the fuck I want, and if people don't,
And
like
I think
it,
you should be able to. I think
Yeah.
anybody should be able. I mean, left
don't
or
get
right,
offended.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna have discussions in here. They're probably gonna get heated.
Oh,
I
it's
can't
gonna
wait
get spicy for sure.
because
I'm
I know
stoked
we
about it.
all we've talked before. We've
Yeah.
all like
Yeah.
we come from different backgrounds. All of us. We're pretty conservative, all of us.
Yep.
But some things we don't agree on, and we're not going to agree on, and that's going to be great.
and it doesn't help.
Yeah.
that
It's going to be
I'm-
great content. I can't
I'm-
wait.
for
I'm
sure.
truly an antagonist at heart. So once I see something bothering someone, I'm immediately like, oh, this is bothering them. Let's lean into this a little bit.
Yeah.
So I definitely stir up shit. So we'll have
good.
some fun with that. Hopefully get some good clips out of it or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Clickbait, like angry tattooed man behind the microphone.
We're pulling his licenses.
Makes everyone, yeah.
So you said you wanted to touch on what?
Oh, just like like you were saying earlier, just curious about the protocols on.
Oh yeah. So Rob, let's pose a scenario to you. So, for context, you own 3 gun shops. For how long now have you been in FFL?
16 years.
So, something. Well, I guess we could ask. I mean, have you ever had a firearm on your books go missing, like unexplained?
that you can talk about.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have things happen.
I mean,
Yeah.
But-
lose it, misplace it.
No.
whatever.
Never had one lost like that.
Okay.
Had them stolen. Yes.
Yeah. Well, and you
Have
just
they come
it.
up misplaced? 100%.
Sure.
Usually,
Inventory
it's-
management issues. That kind
yeah. Usually, it's not even an inventory management issue. It's a paperwork or a
of-
logging issue.
like it
Yeah.
got dispoed inappropriately or something like that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Or transposes another number. That happens. That's going to happen. You have a human element touching the firearm. That's
Okay.
going to happen.
So the scenario goes, you realize that one of your serialized lowers, pistol, whatever it is, a serialized firearm on your books is unaccounted for. Unknown why. What are your protocols and how do you go about handling it?
Well, protocol for us would be one, we would be printing out every single firearm on the book. So the book would just get printed and then we'd go into a full scale audit.
So you have to audit every
We
serialized.
would touch every single gun. Every single piece of inventory with a serial number on it would get, that could be a, fire control group. That could be a lower, pistol, rifle, shotgun, other.
Okay.
Suppressor. That's going to get audited 100%.
100%.
Every stitch of inventory is going to get touched.
Yep.
Okay.
Once you come up with something that you cannot find, then there is protocol. So
like at the ATF level.
so
or-
yeah, so there's a component. One, they want you to work with your local law enforcement first.
Okay.
And then 2, you have 48 hours of a lost or stolen item to report that to the ATF.
So if you find something that's unaccounted for, but then you find that it was just like behind a box or it got counted twice or something like that,
You
and
just
it's in 48 hours, you don't have to report it.
you don't have to report it. No.
But it's after 48 hours and it's still
Yeah.
unaccounted
So
for.
as the law is written, you have 48 hours to notify ATF of any lost or stolen items,
and do
and
they,
that could be a clerical error. You
Right,
know, there
yeah.
couldn't be.
it doesn't have to be like felonious or like
Yeah, right,
nefarious
right.
or-
But they want to know about it, and
and so then what happens? Like, is there an investigation? Do they assign an agent to come and
I
try
mean,
to
they
figure out
could.
what's
They
up?
could. I can tell you, matter of factly, that the robbery that we just had,
Yeah.
where they got off with two pistols, we reported it to local law enforcement immediately, obviously, because that was a situation where it was actually a robbery. And
It
then
was kind of like a smash and grab type deal. They didn't break.
No,
anything.
they-
were like testing them out.
they
or, like,
tested them out and they ran out the door with them.
Yeah.
Fuckers.
So we are lucky, in that aspect that there was no shots fired, that there was no threat, an imminent threat at that moment, because it could have went way worse
Yeah.
than it did. Thank goodness. But that incident, right? So you call local law enforcement, they came out, they responded. And then we had 48 hours. Once we figured out what was missing, what serial numbers, what guns, and we had all the facts, then we sent it to ATF.
Got it.
And to be honest with you, we haven't heard anything from ATF. So it gets reported to the National Tracing Center. Obviously, they're going to send out, to all nationally. So if that gun is ever used in a crime or if it ever comes up in a
The
traffic
serial
stop.
numbers available for reference.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, for that, I mean, if you thought something was nefarious going on, like if you had video of an employee or, a customer, somebody stealing a firearm, obviously you're going to go at that. But you should already, as an FFL, and I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. We've learned a lot over the years, different policies and procedures that we actually have put in place.
Sure, yeah.
Policies are always out of a mishap, usually.
I mean,
Policies
a
written out of a
learned
mishap.
lesson.
Yeah, a learned
Like,
lesson.
Ask me why this rule exists, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's I'm not saying we're perfect. Things happen.
Yeah.
And but no, I've never had one just come up blatantly missing.
So go ahead. I saw you.
So let me frame a little bit different of a hypothetical. Say you have an employee, and that employee was responsible for said firearm, and somehow it got misplaced. What's your first step with that employee, and or looking into what's going on?
Like
Well,
if,
I mean-
if that's all the facts you really have. Like,
Yeah.
He was responsible for it. Doesn't know where it's at.
Well, obviously, I mean, so there's a whole lot of things here. So are we talking about a receiving or a shipping?
Shipping.
So usually there would be, let's just back up. Let's say somebody went on my website. They purchased a handgun. Okay. They're obviously it's gonna trigger a sale. So it's gonna get multiple people are gonna get notified that a sale just occurred.
ShopBlackRifle.com. Shameless plug.
Shameless
Smart.
plug. So
Good one.
multiple people in the organization are going to know that there was a firearm that was just sold.
Got it.
And then it's going to trigger, it's going to go into a queue. It's going to sit there for a second until somebody at one of the, so how we do it, all of our inventory is live. It's pulled from every single one of our stores. So each manager is going to get notified. The shipping and receiving manager is going to get notified. And then the assistant manager is going to get notified of that sale. So depending
and
on
you.
and myself, I know of it goes right to my phone on every single sale. So each store if the stores all have the exact same inventory, usually it's going to pull out of the store that is either closest to the customer, so it's cheaper to ship. For us internally, or the store that has the most inventory, we're just going to pull it out of there. So that store's not sitting on the inventory. So whatever store manager or assistant manager assigns that item, then it's automatically going to get pulled. Okay, it's going to go to shipping and receiving. Shipping and receiving is going to call the FFL that they are asking it to be shipped to. We're going to get a license. For that, we're going to get their FFL. We're going to do an easy check, make sure that FFL is actually licensed and they are current. And then we are going to create a shipping label through ShipStation.
So it's all tracked in multiple avenues.
Yeah.
Yes.
So at what point, if there was let's say an inventory discrepancy, so you're unable to account for a serialized item that's on your books, at what point would you start pointing fingers at an individual? And then at what point would you look towards pressing charges and having that individual involved with law enforcement?
I would have to have solid evidence that an employee, first of all, willfully, knowingly committed a crime or tried to steal an item.
So that's really the threshold. It's willfully, knowingly.
Well, I mean,
something.
so there's so many people. We have so many employees.
Right.
And all the employees, their role in the company, depending if they're sales, they're touching guns,
Right.
they're touching inventory.
But if your inventory manager just had their spreadsheet mixed up in two lines,
Could happen.
It absolutely could happen, right? Where people,
I mean,
it's
listen,
super easy to
yesterday,
you read 6'9" is 9'6", and it's like,
well, this just happened to me yesterday, and this wasn't a firearm. This was just Holosun. We got a huge case of Holosuns in yesterday, and there was multiple discrepancies on the serial numbers, either from Holosun or from the distributor where we got them. They didn't match the invoice,
right.
and there was 3 of those. So I personally checked in that order. We were busy yesterday. I personally opened up the box. I set the inventory on the table like we always do, and I personally went down and checked every serial number on those Holosuns, and 3 of them were not correct.
Yeah.
So stop everything that you're doing right now. You pull those aside.
Reconcile.
You reconcile what we do have, what is correct, and then you move on. So then that goes over to the assistant manager. I gave it to Will, said, hey, we need to call.
So nobody's getting arrested unless they stole.
I don't. So let's just address the elephant in the room.
Wait, do we have to pay for this?
Yeah, we might have to pay for it.
Head over to Patreon if you want the full story.
I'm very confused on how a gentleman got arrested.
Right.
One, how you call the police on your own employees.
I mean, unless you know that they stole a firearm
that quickly.
You better have evidence, cameras.
Yeah.
One, I don't even know how this thing goes down. I don't even know that I would ever call the police on my employees in the first place. I mean, literally, unless there was multiple incidents where you have them dead to rights.
Yeah.
Like, bro, this thing could kind of blow up on these people.
Yep.
I don't know. It just seems we can throw the name out. I don't really care if you guys want to.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll take that risk.
Throw
the GBRS group.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I used to really look up to these guys. They make some great content.
Yeah.
They do a lot of good in the training aspect from where they came from
for the civilian community.
For the civilians.
Yeah.
Right? So like we've
it's hard to be in this situation where I'm like annoyed at them.
Bro, I just don't even understand how this could go down. That's why I'm trying to not cast judgment on this situation but bro, there's like 3 different incidences now that have come up that are very similar to this.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I was
and it's kind of hard to like in this space, right? Right, the gun community is kind of a small place, right? You run into these guys at SHOT Show.
Yep.
You're coursing back and forth with them on Instagram or Facebook.
Yeah.
They've asked us questions. We've asked, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're sending your customers, hey, this might be a good training course for you. These guys make a great mount. Hey, there's people that I know that are personally on their Patreons. They're Patreon members.
Yeah, they're
right
paying for their
and then something like this comes up, and
that's
it's not like I want to distance myself from them, but I want to get to the facts. That's why I told Shipley this morning. I said, "Hey, dude, like I called him out, like from my work page. Like I've been doing this 16 years. There's not ever been an incident where I have thought that I needed to call the police on one of my employees."
Well, that's why I posed the question that way. It's like, in what scenario does it get to that point?
You better have fucking hardcore evidence.
Yeah, and part of it too is, all that video footage is available, all the body cam footage and stuff,
right.
And
which is not great.
It's not great, and the employee was genuinely looked surprised and confused, almost as if he didn't really have a whole lot of dialogue about the subject prior to.
Yeah, you would think that the conversation would be thoroughly had prior to.
Now, I'm just trying to figure out too, how did that product come up in a door or in a drawer?
And then they found it in a
right
drawer.
after the cops had been called or whatever.
In one of the owner's offices.
Which, I mean, did the guy put it back in the drawer? I mean, there's so many things that we don't know that are unknown.
For sure.
Right, absolutely.
But
I do know
my
this.
whole point is, if this was a big a deal as they are making it out to be, why was it suppressed? Right from social media, it's none of our fucking business.
Well, their comments
Nobody's
were turned off
business.
for like a couple days.
Well, it's like
it was suppressed.
They put
the
it
comments,
out online.
Exactly, the comments were suppressed. The comments were turned off.
Mm-hmm.
Why at that point, at that level, they have huge money backers.
Yeah.
Didn't their attorneys address the situation? Now they look like idiots.
Well,
in my opinion.
And now the full story is behind a paywall. So now I'm like, how much of this?
Well, they say he told me today directly.
Oh, he did. He responded to you.
He responded to me and said it will be available for everybody to see once the court case, once they're allowed to release it.
But they're allowed
Well,
they're allowed to release it behind a paywall right now.
Which is essentially, it's going to get leaked. The shit's
I
going to be
don't
on YouTube tomorrow.
I mean, I'm not trying to. It is what it is. Like it's their business.
It's just
but
it is
they-
their
they-
business.
they
It's
chose
none of
to-
our
but they
business.
chose to put it
However,
online.
it is our business when we're referring people to them and
Yeah.
you're telling people about them. And you know, it's just like Yeti back in the day. It's like we were huge Yeti. I still love Yeti to this day.
I've got a ton of Yeti stuff.
I don't sell it
because they
anymore.
stopped selling to the NRA, which is funny because now all of us hate the NRA.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just it just puts us retailers in a situation,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? You get stuck with a bunch of inventory because people don't want to buy it. Then what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
Well-
tough. I mean, I remember when Yeti went down with the NRA and it was like there were so many narratives out there about what was going on with Yeti.
Bro, Yeti is a great company.
Yeah, and I remember specifically because you were still in Rockland
Dude,
when it went down, and you had so much,
inventory, dude. It's crazy. And how that shit just cuts off like a switch
Yeah.
when something happens like that. And I'm not passing judgment on these guys
Yeah,
yet, but I just don't know how you get from point A to
be
point
seen.
B and somebody goes to jail and then, you know, it's not just our optics. That guy's GoFundMe. I don't even know the employee's name.
Yeah.
His GoFundMe was at some point was like over 50 grand
That's
the last
crazy.
time I looked at it.
It's still climbing too, I think. Actually.
So, I mean,
crazy.
I'm not the only one. The optics just don't look great. And,
No, I
you know, so I just don't know how that happens. Doing this for 16 years, things happen. There are going to be shipments that get lost.
Yeah.
I mean, literally,
I mean, and maybe they were well within
they could be.
the realm.
I
of
would like to hear
reason.
more because you know what? I could learn from that as a business owner.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean? But I still, I don't know how do you get to that point where the cops are called, people are getting handcuffed, their employees are getting handcuffed
Well, and it's
and
like
getting
right
carted
now,
off.
like we're definitely like Sunday morning quarterbacks, like or armchair quarterbacks or whatever it's called. Like
Yeah.
like we see very segmented pieces of information. It's like the body cam footage doesn't look great, but like the body cam footage for George Floyd didn't look great. You know
That's
what I mean?
very true.
yeah.
Like
But I can tell you this personally, there are other situations that have come up that don't look good either, and
Right.
within their own
Yeah.
organization, and then people have left that organization and have spoke about it. It's a lot on Reddit. I mean, there's a lot of information that
yeah,
I mean,
God, I love Reddit.
we'll see how
Dude,
this
that's
this
not my thing.
comes. Yeah, I'm not a big Reddit guy, but
You got to be careful on
articles
Reddit.
articles
So,
get sent
real
to
talk
me.
with Rob subreddit.
Yeah,
We should
I'm
start
sure.
one. Just
Oh,
let
there's
you-
a lot of people out there that don't fucking like me, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't care. They don't pay my bills. So
No, I like your new handle though. Real talk. That's a good one.
That's a good one. It is. I
after
was
they've
thinking I
taken,
need to change mine.
they've taken all my
Other ones?
Instagrams
Well, it's
away.
only a
So
matter of
Rob-
time.
Top. What was it? Rob Top.
Rob
Gun?
Top Gun,
Slinger.
Rob _ Top Gun Slinger,
Yeah, that's
something
right.
2.0, whatever.
Yeah,
it's been like
3.0,
3.04. Yeah.
Just infinite
Can you
infinity
yeah,
signs.
subscribe to my backup to my backup to my
Yeah.
backup.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You know, I hope this thing works out for both parties.
Yeah.
Because being a business owner, things
Well,
are tough.
and-
It's always
and-
tough.
And honestly, like our industry, like just not even the industry, like the money making industry, but like getting the general public comfortable with the firearm community in general.
Yeah.
We just
like,
don't need this.
We can't afford this stupid stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just one more tick.
yeah.
Yeah. You know, and one thing that makes me more curious about than anything was the employee of the topic handled everything with so much grace. And all we have available to us is what is out currently.
Yeah.
Right. So what I have available in my knowledge, what's going on, is just tons of body cam footage and just watching that and being like, wow, he was polite, he was well spoken, he was calm, he was like, yeah, he got let out and he's like, oh, I'm happy just not to be in handcuffs.
Right.
Well, I mean,
He handled it pretty well, and he didn't seem extremely angry, which could go for me one of two ways. Maybe he has slipped up a few times in the past, maybe.
Or maybe
And-
he just knows how to handle himself and he's a
or-
mature individual.
Or he's a mature individual that's genuinely like, I didn't do anything wrong, so
Right.
why would I be freaked out?
well, and then it goes back to this too. So I start thinking, devil's advocate too. On the other side, it's like, shit, should I start doing an inventory every week? You know what I mean? And trying to see if something's walked out the door. I'm not there every day. And I
Right.
have 3 stores, 3 different states with lots of employees.
yeah, you have a lot. You have to put a lot of
You know what I
faith
mean?
as
So,
an owner
Yeah, you
in
do.
your staff.
But that's why you have policies and procedures, and you adhere to those things, and you have to trust in your staff, because if you don't,
What do you
I can't
got?
be there every
Yeah,
every
right.
day.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, so we'll see how this thing shakes up. I hope it works out for both of them. I hope it doesn't cost either side a lot of money.
Mhm.
And maybe I'll be eating my words, but
Well, I mean,
We'll see. I hope so. I mean,
Yeah.
I really do hope so because I like those guys.
it doesn't
like
look
the
good.
content they put out
I just
quite a
don't like the way it makes the industry look. It doesn't make them look good.
yeah.
Yeah. By any means.
Well, fortunately, there's people like me that'll still go like, "Oh, that was a horrible situation,"
bit. Oh, for sure.
and I'll still watch all those DJ Shipley videos because they're filmed great. And,
Yeah,
and his insight and how he delivers shit is just like his delivery is easy for, again, going back to not being a smart man. I'm not saying he's not smart, but his delivery
It's
is
easy
just
to
like,
consume.
yeah, oh, okay, message received, and I could agree and disagree.
Right.
But it's like, okay, cool. And also, like their risers, like you think that if I didn't like them and that riser is
Dude,
available, I'll still buy that
There's
shit.
they got a lot of product. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know what you would call it, but like they're working with a lot of companies on
Yeah.
different products. So
I'll still buy their shit. if
We'll
it
see.
needed
Let's
on
hope
my
it shakes out and it's good. I don't like, the information that gets let out there and then suppressing. I mean, dude, the internet's a fucking wild place.
No,
gun.
it's a-
Volatile.
We talked about this yesterday in the pod. I mean, there's a lot of fake ass shit out there.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So it's
That's my biggest thing. I really hope it's just not a grab for attention.
bro.
Man, what a good one.
It's not.
It
Yeah.
would be good. I mean, we're talking the entire fucking gun community is talking about this shit.
Yeah.
I've had clients come in here that are
You're like, "What?"
relatively new to the gun community and to firearms in general. Like, hey, do you know who DJ Shipley is? Have you seen this stuff on the internet? And I'm just like, yeah, man, this is every single person in the
Bro, and
industry's feeds.
I've
are
got
flooded.
personal friends that are like drinking the Kool-Aid, like literally subscribing to everything that they do, the Patreon,
Yeah.
like bringing in their gear, like try to get us hooked up with them and wanting me to carry all their stuff in the store. And it's like, dude, I got a lot of things on my plate and that is not one of them, but I have referred people to their training.
yeah.
I've referred people to that mount that they've made.
Yeah,
And there's a lot of shit talk on that mount too. Like,
I use it.
it's just there's a ton of people. I mean, let's just hope this thing works itself out.
Yeah.
They can fix this and then they'll come out with a statement and they'll come out with more evidence that
This is level-headed Rob over here. I'm waiting for like fire in the eye.
no, dude, it's just I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't like seeing these
Yeah.
type of things in my space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you.
For sure.
Right? Like
It's not a good look for anyone.
no.
No.
This business
Because
is
the reality is it does cast a bad light on you too. You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like maybe not directly, but at least indirectly.
yeah, no, I had a conversation with a customer today on my personal page about this. We went back and forth and he's like, well, this is not something on you. Well, it kind of is.
Right.
When you are referring people to these people,
Yep.
you're referring their trainings, their products, and things like that, and you have personal knowledge of other things behind the scenes,
Yep.
which I can't go into, but there's some other things
Yeah.
of other products that we sell that somebody was involved in
Yep.
at that level with them. So I don't like those things in this space because running this space in the gun community
Hard enough.
is very difficult.
Yeah.
You know what else too? And I don't even know if you thought of this too, but like someone who maybe is a younger person that's like, yeah, I want to work in a gun store.
Then it turns them completely off.
And they see that and they're just like, that seems like a lot
Bro,
of
I
liability.
actually have this problem, like with the Sacramento store, right? So if criminals are going to be able to just walk into the store
Yep.
and take what they want, right? Like
Yeah, bro.
we will go into that scenario, but I had two
I'm like, that's a full episode.
I had
right
two
there.
veterans that did what they thought was right, but I had to make new policy because of that, because they weren't afraid to do the right thing.
Right.
And they were trying to protect the store, protect me, protect themselves.
Right.
And we could have had a fucking real shootout,
Right.
like legitimate shootout
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
of
could've been
fucking
real.
terrible policy. California lawmakers making terrible policies.
I mean, if it's any consolation, I think that your employees would probably have won that shootout.
Maybe
but-
not in California.
I don't know, brother. Oh, they would have won the shootout. There would have
They
been
would've
dead
won the
motherfuckers.
No,
shootouts.
they would have lost the legal battle and had a
That's what
horrible
we're
life.
talking about.
Yeah.
But that's the problem. They're doing the right thing in
Yeah.
everyone's eyes, but California's laws would have put them behind bars.
Crucified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crucified. Instantly.
You know, and we still got one fucking outstanding citizen running around with two guns.
Yep.
They still haven't caught the one guy,
Oh, the third.
the third dude. Yeah.
And they're all identified, right?
Yeah, I don't, dude. The information coming out of the local police department, literally garbage.
Yeah.
So we get very little information, and maybe it's because they know that I'm on social media like this. Like, bro, I jumped on a plane right then. I was very emotional about it. One, because when I got the phone call, it was literally
Dude,
30 minutes
I was
before
at
we
work
closed
texting
here.
you based like you were posting stories like
Yeah.
on the
Bro,
way down.
I think I even messaged you like, "You good, dude? What's going on?"
I'm just, bro, it could have went
well, it's like
so
you know, like
south.
You get to know Jake, you get to know your staff, like Murder's
Bro,
Team.
I
It's
love
like,
them. They're
you
my
got-
family.
Yeah,
My
Good
staff is
people.
my family.
Good people.
You know.
They allow me to live a very comfortable lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I'm going to protect them at all cost. And when I hear that we just got burglarized or robbed,
yeah,
you know, thank God they
personal.
didn't come in with guns.
Yeah.
that's personal.
And they could have had guns
Well,
on
and it's
them.
not, and it's not just your
Could've.
staff; it's also your other customers. You know, It's
Yeah.
like-
And the place was packed the day that it happened.
That's crazy. Brazen. Just like zero fucks given.
0.
And zero repercussions feared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another whole podcast.
Yeah, we won't talk about
we
that
are at
now.
an hour 20, so we're gonna wrap this one up. But that's episode 2. Rob's gonna be out of town for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, something like that. I'm guessing Jeremy and I will throw down another episode.
Yeah.
But episode 1 will be out tomorrow, so we're recording this before even the release of our first. And then this will be out the following week. So you guys are gonna finally start seeing content roll out. I mean, it's kind of crazy. Like, you know, like you guys have pretty decent followerships, you know, right now, and
Yeah.
so we already have 200 people or so on our Instagram.
Yeah.
This is gonna be on Instagram. It's gonna be on YouTube. We're working out the kinks that you guys are gonna have to deal with. You'll see, like, there's some editing faux pas, but it is what it is. Like, we will get this stuff dialed out. We're working on getting our equipment all synchronous and whatnot. But it sounds great. It looks really good, and we're really stoked to start bringing regular content out. And
Absolutely.
cannot wait.
Yeah, this is exciting.
I mean, like, it's funny. Like, we keep saying it. It's like, I'm excited to see where this is gonna go.
Oh, I love it.
It'll be good, man. All right, boys. Well, that's episode 2. We'll call it a wrap.
Sounds good.
All right. Catch you on the next one.